Hello, my name is John Schroeder. I reside in Mid-Pines, which is a community in Mariposa County, California. I work for the Mariposa County Resource Conservation District. This particular presentation is third in a series of 4, which deals with dead trees caused by bark beetle infestation. The first presentation is a brief introduction to our beetle problem, that is to say, the beetle itself. The second presentation in the series deals with residential hazard tree removal. The third presentation is this one, logging operations in the landscape with log removal. And by landscape we mean out away from residential areas. The fourth presentation is logging operations again in the landscape but without log removal. I'm going to describe full-scale logging operations in this presentation, and the economics of that kind of operation have changed significantly in the past several years, and the net cost to the landowner has increased significantly also, to the point that affordability may be in doubt if log removal is going to be undertaken. Log removal is expensive, and there may be no place that will accept logs in exchange for money. Nonetheless, we're going to present the full-scale case to give you a complete picture of California's tree mortality problem.
Felling and disposing of large numbers of trees that are sick or dead out beyond the 100-foot defensible space perimeter can be much different than what was described in the residential hazard case. Let's discuss some of the potentially prohibitive variables when it comes to logging operations in the landscape. The first consideration is cost. A Mariposa area property owner contracted for a full-scale operation involving 100 trees in the spring of 2015. The estimated total cost came to over $50,000. The net cost to the property owner, however, was near zero. The difference in the two costs can be attributed to the fact that there was a market for the logs back then. Selling the logs offset most of the cost. Another consideration is ground disturbance. Dragging logs around tears up the ground. Be prepared to do some work to prevent erosion. Equipment. In the contract job discussed just moments ago, the property owner estimated that the cost, new, of the equipment used on his job would be close to $750,000. Slash. Basically, every logging operation generates some. The most commonly used method for dealing with slash in this scenario is lop and scatter. The contractor cuts the slash up so it isn't more than 28 inches above the ground and then scatters it around. This often results in a landscape appearance that is, in a word, ugly. Space. The operation requires lots of space. We'll discuss this in more detail later. This sort of operation also requires trained and licensed people. This is an absolute must. Here are some commonly used logging operation terms. A yard is a flat or semi-flat area used to prepare and stack logs prior to loading them for transport. Yarding is the act of moving a felled log from the stump to the yard, usually by skidding. A deck is a stack of logs in the yard ready for transport. So let's get down to looking at large operations and how they're done. Here are some space requirements for a full-scale logging operation. The yard must be a flat area of at least 75 feet square. There needs to be one or more routes navigable by a large vehicle, such as a skidder, connecting the felling area or areas to the yard. There needs to be an area 25 feet wide on one side of the yard to do any remaining limbing. There needs to be another 25-foot wide area on another side of the yard to accommodate a stack of limbed logs. And for access, there needs to be a roadway or track to and from the yard navigable by an 18-wheeler logging truck. A skidder, shown on the left, has rubber tires about 5 feet in diameter. The grapple on the back grabs the log at one end and drags it to the yard. The log is usually 38 feet long. A loader, shown on the right, has a much wider grapple. It grabs the center of the log and moves it from one place to another in the yard. Here we see the skidder dragging a log from the stump to the yard. Here is the loader stacking two limbed logs onto a deck. Logging trucks have trailers in order to be able to haul 38-foot logs. When empty, the trailer rides in the bed of the truck. In order to be able to haul logs, the trailer must be unloaded from the truck and hitched up to it. This can be accomplished by the loader. In this image, the loader is loading a single log onto the truck and trailer. This image shows another kind of loader, a heel boom loader. This loader grabs the log near one end, and a cleat on the loader boom allows the log to project straight out from the boom. The log can then be loaded onto the truck and trailer from the end rather than from the middle. This is sometimes necessary due to situations such as a narrow roadbed. Here are the steps for engaging a licensed contractor. Flag all trees that are candidates for removal. Consider recruiting neighbors to join your project to help lessen the cost. List your requirements for slash disposal, etc. If the logs are to be sold or bartered, you must use an LTO. Consult the website listed here for a full list of current LTOs. If possible, be sure to interview more than one contractor. Discuss and agree on a project plan and secure a quote. Agree to and sign a memorandum of understanding. Assure that you have a public road encroachment permit if needed. If you are selling or bartering the logs, assure that the LTO has secured the proper exemption from CAL FIRE. Exemptions from CAL FIRE are documented and can be found using Google by searching on Board of Forestry timber harvest exemptions, followed by the year. If you are selling or bartering the logs under ordinary circumstances, you will need a timber harvest plan. This is dictated by legislation known as the Forest Practices Act. Trees killed by beetles can be exempted from this requirement. The current exemptions are 1038C and 1038D and must be obtained from the landowner's licensed timber operator or registered professional forester. Please note that exemptions do change from time to time. Consult the CAL FIRE Board of Forestry website for an up-to-date list. This concludes the main part of the presentation, but we wanted to share a couple of thoughts regarding the condition of the land post-operation. You should know that CAL FIRE will inspect the site soon after the logging operation ends. The inspector will assure that the contractor obeyed the rules regarding treatment of slash and prevention of erosion. The rules for slash refer to a treatment called lop and scatter, which specifies that the slash must be cut up such that all slash is less than 28 inches above ground and scattered about. The purpose is to guarantee low flame height if a wildfire does ensue. The slash must be at least 300 feet from habitable structures. If the slash is closer, the height limit is 18 inches. The inspector will also check for areas where ground disturbance creates a potential erosion site. The contractor must take measures to prevent this. An example is the use of water bars on skid tracks to divert water out to the side rather than down the track. So you may have more work to do, particularly if you want the lop and scattered slash to be piled for burning, as shown in the image here.